Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 35, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Ian Scott.
I'm Zack Huber.
And this is the podcast where we discuss nerd topics from the past week and this week. And yeah, I think we got a shorter list than maybe normal this week.
Yeah.
But it was a short week for us. And but yeah, we wanted to review.
Still some fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. We got a review of the Ahsoka episode, a big episode.
Mm-hmm.
The What If season 2, all the episode titles dropped, so we know what they're about at least. Kind of.
I don't know them, so Ian's gonna fill me in.
Yeah, got you there. And then we just got a bunch of trailers we're running through.
Yeah.
We got the Bikeriders
with Austin Butler and Tom Hardy.
Yeah, and we got The Boy and the Heron from Miyazaki.
Yep. We also have Monarch.
Yeah.
Apple TV Monsterverse trailer.
Yeah, we do.
And a bunch of other ones that we'll get into.
Absolutely.
But we're going to start with Ahsoka episode 4 review. We're going to start non-spoilers.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do for this episode, I think.
Yeah. But I guess just
general thoughts.
Yeah, general thoughts.
Better than last week for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one had a very real conclusion, I feel. Even though it sets up more for the next episode, I feel fine like waiting for the next episode compared to last week where I was like, oh, we're done.
I think the difference between this episode and last week's episode is there's not there is no difference because it left me wanting more. It's just last week's left me wanting more because I was like, what the fuck? I want more.
Yeah.
What was it? And then this one, I want more because I'm like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah, right. So it's a better leaving you wanting more rather than like feeling disappointed. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should probably get into spoilers. No? Okay.
Just if nobody wants to just to preface the general thoughts before, you can pause it and do spoilers in just a second. But I think overall this episode had a lot more confrontation and different interesting interactions between characters where there was some foreshadowing about what certain characters want and there being a bit of maybe a betrayal set up.
I mean, feels like it.
So I will say that instead of just having the dynamics between characters be very status quo.
Yeah, right.
It was very interesting and
they take some really bold decisions.
Yeah. And I think that's what I really appreciate about this episode.
Yeah, it doesn't feel safe.
No.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this episode.
I like this episode too.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can we just do it?
Can we just come on? But yeah, so this episode starts off. I mean, first thing that I think that's big is the duel fight that happens in the woods, right? Or do we want to go before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before that, I like how serious and the tone feels at the beginning. I really appreciate that. The only issue I will have about the episode in general before I get to the stuff I really liked is when we are introducing the Hera and New Republic side of things.
Right.
It's a completely different
tone shift.
Yeah. And that I wish would have been handled with the same amount of the same tone that the rest of the series and the episode is taking, because I love Hera, but I do think that there's a way that a lot of those we didn't need this
hopeful band together.
No, I mean I like that. Yeah. It was more of when she is like, I'm leaving the base, come up with an excuse, and then he's like, come up with an excuse. I'm like,
you're like, oh, okay, so it's kind of too comedic for you there. Yeah.
There's just but there did feel like a big change in tone, and then we go back to this very
Yeah, no, that's super fair. I think, funny enough, that might be your like one complaint, but like while I was watching it, like during the episode, I was thinking, gosh, the like the X-Wing, New Republic guys, like they are literally like they might be a top 3 favorite thing in the universe that they've this like little, I guess, Mandalorian universe they've created, because like I don't know, I love the feeling of the aesthetic from like the original trilogy still being there, and then you also like make them these kind of like Lone Ranger detectives, like going off to corners of the galaxy, and I don't know. I think they're all super cool. I love the little like crew that she got together as they were like flying in. They looked dope as hell. So yeah, they're cool in my eyes, but I get it.
I like them all together.
But the tone of the earlier, I get that. Right.
Like when they show up, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that if it wasn't for what is her name? Who plays? She got off The Mandalorian season 3.
Is it Cara?
Cara Dune, but like I forget, Gina Carano.
Yeah, okay.
If it wasn't that her character's gone, either
She'd
forever or maybe they'll come back because there's been talks.
Sure,
she would definitely be in that. Group.
It's funny when Heron was talking and I didn't like see her face. She was just on comms. It sounded like Cara Dune. Like weirdly enough, they have very similar voices to me. So, I don't know. I don't think the character was good while she was in the first 2 seasons. I'm not like pining to have her back, but she would be cool to have in this instance.
I mean, I really liked her.
Yeah, she was cool. Yeah, but she isn't like what made The Mandalorian for me.
No.
So. Yeah.
But I think that's what the New Republic like squadron show that they were developing.
Right.
This probably would have led into that.
For sure would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bummer we didn't get that. But
I agree.
Yeah, back to the episode.
Sure. The beginning, the cool tone of not knowing what's going on, and you have
stay together.
One of the, for lack of a better word, evil droid pretty much sneak up and attack.
That was a cool little
like
fist fight they had there.
That was some aggressive droid, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then we get into the chase in the woods. Very cool.
Yeah, Monarch and Shin just kind of Shin. They just kind of are just standing there, posted up. They run right into him.
But I like even before they get to that, it was Balon saying, or like he was getting reported to, and Shin was saying they won't hold them back long. And he's like, but you will.
Yeah. I was like,
this is
hell
great.
yeah, man. Balon. I mean, every line he has, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
He's like your perfect like calculated villain. Yeah. But yeah, so the fight in the woods is very cool. Starts off with Sabine just shooting rapidly at Shin, and they go off in their fight, and then Monarch and Ahsoka have like a very almost traditional like lightsaber fight in a way.
Traditional, but
then Monarch has like a double lightsaber and
like General Grievous sort of thing,
like spinny thing. And
I'm just personally, I appreciate
you done with the crazy lightsabers.
It was done. No, I like the crazy lightsaber stuff. It's just I'm was it done well? Yeah. But like it's just I was into everything. It's just I don't need the callback to that like Grievous sort of thing. Yeah.
Am I thinking wrong? Didn't like the Grand Inquisitor have it in like the Obi-Wan show, that spinning thing?
I think so too.
Huh.
Like I understand that's like part of I don't need it.
Sure.
I'm just tired of going back to tropes like that.
But yeah, so basically they're Ahsoka and his fight ends as he does the spinny, like he threatens it, and she just slices him in half pretty much, and green smoke pops out of him, and he screams, and then he collapses.
Yeah.
Now the green smoke I think is interesting because that has been used with like Night Sister stuff, and we have a Night Sister with us.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, she must have reanimated an old Inquisitor, maybe.
Right.
Which is, I think it's disappointing for all of us who were like theorizing about this character, and now he's probably just dead, because they just leave him on the planet. But I don't know. I think because of what's coming, I'm not like super upset about it. But it is a bummer because like I think this was a huge misdirect, right? I mean, like you have to assume that somebody who's full masked up, looks like an Inquisitor, double lightsaber red, like you gotta assume something like that's a character from a past show or movie. Bummer that it isn't, but
well, I empathize, but I think that I almost appreciate it more in some ways because I kind of don't need all of the tie-ins.
Sure.
I agree with you. We both thought it could have been like Ezra for some weird reason,
or maybe Starkiller. And I don't even know if I would have wanted that fully, but it would have been cool and interesting. And
it would have been cool and interesting if it was cool and interesting. Like if they had done it in a way that was cool, and because otherwise we'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Right. You butchered this character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like that it's not fully explained, and we're like, what was that?
Yeah.
But like we can kind of infer. And I think I agree with you. Like, that's probably what that was.
Right.
Or, I don't know. I kind of dig that I don't know entirely what that was.
I mean, they don't even ever, like, tell us, Balon or Shin, like, how they came in contact with this guy, why he's with them.
Which, like, is fine with me.
Sure.
I didn't need to know all that about Boba Fett when he shows up in Empire.
That's fair.
And he was cool.
Fair. Yeah. He was in a New Hope, wasn't he, too?
No,
he was in A New Hope.
In
one scene,
the like special edition. He was never.
Well, he was. Maybe they added him in later, but I know he was like standing around when like Jabba the Hutt was like talking to Han.
But
on Tatooine.
That was a special edition thing. Yeah. Like that wasn't original.
Later. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
But yeah,
Monarch dies.
Monarch dies. Yep. I thought it was interesting. I went, what?
It was kind of a quick fight, but I mean, it was a good fight, so I was okay with it.
The Shin and Sabine fight was pretty cool.
I think that might have been a little better for me. It was a little more exciting.
I think so.
Yeah. And then so Sabine tells her to, I got this, even though I'm a fresh Padawan, I got this against Shin. And I mean, and for the most part, she holds herself up, through Mandalorian and Jedi training. And, but yeah, so she gets pushed down at one point, and a little force push comes out of her, which is very cool. I mean, we hadn't seen her use the force yet, right? I'm not.
No.
Right.
I guess not.
So that's cool that it comes out in a moment of like pure need. And then. Yeah, so Sabine shoots a little like rocket at her or like bullet, and then Shin escapes, and and so then Ahsoka and Balon are about to fight, and they have some cool dialogue beforehand.
They have some really cool dialogue.
Balon somehow knows that Anakin was Darth Vader,
right.
And that Anakin was her master, and that he knew Anakin before the war, and a lot of cool little information dropped right there. But he feels like to create, everything needs to be destroyed, and that's the end of that conversation for Ahsoka. She's like, all right, you need to die. And I mean, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, and she was like, all right,
okay,
that's enough.
Yeah. And how inevitable. And so good. And,
I do really. I think this particular fight will be one of the go back to, like, we gotta watch that fight, because that was a really good
fun
fight.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically,
which I think is because there was all of that build up, and they like gave it time. And if I'm remember, we were both.
They were like all true duels, you know. They were all the fights were like true duels, right? You know, in a way.
And I was really tired when we watched this.
Yeah, you were.
But if I remember correctly, was there not even like a lot of it was them just in silence doing it, and then eventually it got music going into it? Because I almost like I appreciate that a lot of like the dialogue, there wasn't music behind it.
I'm sure there was music, but like once it got to the lightsaber,
but at least duels, it was subtle enough that it wasn't like,
overpowering.
Yeah, and I feel like they gave time to those scenes, which is what I liked about the prequels. Is they had crazy lightsaber fights that I do miss those.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I love those fights, and that just like the general choreography of all those scenes were great.
But they would do that where it would be like quiet for a while and then dun, 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 and I'm like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was a similar thing going on here.
Yeah. I'd have to see it again.
Not as intense as like the Darth Maul or whatever, but
right. Or Mustafar. Yeah. But yeah, so both Shin and Sabine catch up to them while they're fighting, and Ahsoka just like force pushes Shin into a wall and knocks her out, and Balon's like, yo, that's not cool. And basically Sabine catches up, threatens to shoot the map, and Ahsoka, he's just like,
I don't care.
Right, screw it, and just powers her off the cliff.
You won't do it.
And Sabine didn't do it, and Ahsoka falls. And he, is like, he kind of takes a moment, like a deep breath, and like I almost get the sense that he like just through that action, like knew that like Sabine was struggling with something, and knew maybe what she was struggling with. And
he knows what she's struggling with.
Sure, but I think it was from like him like, like taking that like deep breath. Like I don't know. He just took like a moment after like they fought, and then like he was like, okay, you're not gonna do it. Like you both know the true way to find your friend, and your whole family died in Mandalore, and which some people were saying that we didn't know whatever happened to Sabine's family, so now we know. So he gets closer and closer, just kind of like, hey, I'll give you my word. Like, you can come with us. You can meet your friend again, and I can become something greater. And she agrees. She gives him the map back. Crazy decision.
I love it. I love it too, so much.
Because it's such an established character. And I don't think it's like an out of character decision.
No.
I just think it's not a good guy decision, and that's an exciting like move for a Star Wars character, I guess.
Yeah.
They could have easily played it safe, but they didn't. And so Sabine, well, she gets force choked by Shin at first, and some people were saying that might be hinting towards like a feud between Balon and Shin later on, which I think it could. She might be darker than him, which I think she might be.
Potentially.
Yeah, but so they all go. They got the map. They go into light speed and screw up the flight pattern of the X-Wings coming in, and a bunch of those guys die, and Hera didn't really do anything technically this episode. And
so that like you were pointing out, Hera, no, like she showed up.
Yeah,
she did.
Because you thought they were just writing her out. Totally.
Well, not writing her out entirely. It was more of they wanted to make it that Ahsoka and Sabine had to do this alone.
Yeah, right.
And
which they did.
Yeah. But the way that they wrote Hera out of not being able to help was just kind of bullshit. Like you could have had her do a number of other things to not be in the picture. Like we set up a decoy thing that she has to explore, and while there is like, well, I have to go investigate this or something. It just felt like, oh, let me talk to the leaders of the universe, of the galaxy, and then they are like, yeah, it's probably nothing.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. Like Mon Mothma should have been like, I don't know, guys.
Well, she was the only one who was like, maybe we should do something about this.
And I get that she's all about democracy.
Yeah,
but like, I was just like, come on, guys. You literally just have a New Republic now, and like you're fucking up already.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, so the episode ends on the fact that basically they have light sped off to find Thrawn and possibly Ezra. And it then goes back to the setting where they had the Balon and Ahsoka fought, and pans to the water, and the water transitions into this like magical blue energy, and Ahsoka wakes up on this like blue magical energy bridge, and
which I think is the Force. Like what happens when you're a Force ghost or something like that.
I think that's what it is, and I think it's that because of what we see right after, where Ahsoka hears like, "Hey, Snips," and didn't think I'd see you so soon, and she turns around and Anakin's standing right there, and I mean that's great to see, and I think the version we get is like the same version we got technically at the end of episode 6, where he's a Force ghost. I think like him looking de-aged was intentional, and so I think that's Force ghost Anakin. Technically he's not a Force ghost, but he's like in the Force right now, and Ahsoka might have died, which is kind of insane, but it's very cool that, I mean, we're in the Force possibly. I mean, I don't think we've ever been in the Force, and this is like a whole new realm for Star Wars. And it's so exciting. I'm so excited for next week's episode, and they're releasing it like very limited in theaters for next episode, the first time ever they're doing it for a Star Wars show. So I mean, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah. I think I agree. It's very exciting. If she's dead, I don't know if they've.
I think somehow she'll come back, but I don't know how.
I think I don't know in Rebels or the Clone Wars if they've ever explained like or had moments like this in there, but it's either A, she's dead and she's a part of the Force, or B, she's unconscious and for some reason is able to.
That would be weird for her to be unconscious. But yeah, I mean, it would be, I don't know. I don't like that theory in a way because it's not in line with like the Force Ghost stuff. But
how would you feel if she's dead and then she
comes back?
Yeah.
They'd have to write a really well done explanation. I'll say that it has to be well written.
What if, I don't want to be, rain on anybody's parade, but if that is the case where she's resurrected, if she is dead and we hate it, do we hate this now going into the Space Force bridge?
That's a big risk they're taking with this, and I am trying to have faith in Dave Filoni because he has made a lot of good Star Wars stuff, and he's directing and wrote the next episode, so he's got like full control over it. And
it's interesting. It ended with the Vader theme.
It did, but it's not like Anakin ever had a theme. Like what was Anakin's theme? I don't know.
But just you didn't even have to put the Vader theme.
Sure, you didn't.
Which seems a little foreshadowing.
It's a little ominous. Yeah, I feel you. Maybe this is a trick. Maybe somebody's trying to trick Ahsoka into thinking it's Anakin. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's It's interesting. I know some people were theorizing it's like this thing called the world between worlds, which I think is just the Force, you know. And some people were like, oh, this might lead to like Star Wars' own multiverse. And I was like,
oh no. Please do not do that.
Yeah. I don't like that theory. I don't think it's right. But that would be awful.
Would actually be awful.
Yep.
No multiverse in Star Wars. Please
no.
It's not needed.
It really isn't. Because
then I really won't care about anything.
That might be a point where like a lot of Star Wars fans dip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. But yeah.
Multiverse is really hot, guys. Please.
It's really working well for the MCU right now. So
no.
Yeah, no, it's not. But yeah, I think that's our thoughts on the episode. I think it's a really great episode.
Yeah.
A lot of great fights, some death, and some crazy decisions, and some crazy places we go to. And yeah, I think it's all really, really fun.
And I think we see Thrawn next episode.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
I think we see Ezra next episode, or
possibly
second to last episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
lots of Anakin tomorrow, though.
For sure.
Not tomorrow, but
next episode. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to take a short break, and then we will be right back with the What If Season 2 episodes. Yeah. Welcome back. We are going to be talking about some What If Season 2 episodes. So, to my surprise, these are just going to be 9 episodes.
What was it last time?
It was 9, but I thought they were like the original plan last season was for 10, and they had to cut out that Gamora kills Thanos episode.
Okay.
So that's the first episode of this season. The Gamora kills Thanos. And then second episode is what if Captain Carter finds Hydra Stomper? It's continued from season 1.
Okay.
So they're doing a sequel to an episode.
Interesting.
The third episode.
That's says much a what if as it is.
That is a what if we just continued this plot. Yeah.
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 I am the Watcher.
So first 2 episodes I'm not really excited for. Like that first episode is, I mean, it's a character we saw in the first season. But I don't know. I mean, Gamora killing Thanos could be cool. I like Gamora. So that could be neat. And then, so third episode is what if the Tesseract landed in, sorry if I say this wrong, Haudenosaunee Confederacy before the colonization of America.
Right.
The Native American introduction of the new hero, Kaori. Kaori.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that episode is like the one episode where they're like, what if we just went to a new time period and made a new character?
Right.
Which is, I think it's cool. I think like it's not a character we've ever seen in the comics. I'm excited to see like an original direction, and an original female character probably. But yeah. But what do you? I mean, I think we talked about it. Maybe
we talked about
dropped,
it. It was getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting story idea. I know we had hesitations about the Tesseract. The way it was being described was she may be going through space when it arrives. Like, I think the complaint was, at least on your end, that you would have liked, I would like
them to keep it in the Native American setting.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Might not be that case, but that was what was being theorized.
Right.
So I'm intrigued, and I think it's cool to be making a new character. Yeah. I think we need new characters.
Agreed. Because Marvel kind of stopped making new characters for a while in comics.
Yeah. Or just, I mean, I guess I can't say because I don't read as much like new comics, but I don't feel there's anywhere near in the past where they would have new characters being written that people would gravitate towards. I don't feel like there's a lot of that happening.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, imagine if this episode does well. I mean, that could be and they make a comic out of it. That could be a huge sale for them in the comics side of things. Yeah. So, I think it's a good idea overall. But yeah, fourth episode is what if Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne fought the Red Guardian in the 80s? Yeah.
Okay, that's
it's a neat fight.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah,
but it sounds like it's just like a fight.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Which
I mean,
maybe there's an interesting story that's a part of it.
Sure, but I feel like the what if Thor and Captain Marvel fought? Like I don't even remember the story. I just remember that fight from that episode, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know. The fight was good enough for me. Like the episode wasn't great, but like it worked.
I would like to see how, as much as I like Red Guardian, how you.
I don't even see how he stands a chance,
Hank
right?
Pym.
And Janet, the Ant-Man and the Wasp in their prime.
And also just Hank Pym on his own in the first season
killed the entire Avengers.
Yeah.
So. I don't know how he stands a chance. The What If writers really like Hank Pym, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was also in another episode in season 1, right? I think.
Might have been the zombie episode.
Possibly. But yeah, I mean, I like Hank Pym. I think it would have been cool to go back to maybe like a movie setting with him. But I get that would have been a ton of DHing probably. Yeah. So, or just cast a younger version of Michael Douglas. I don't know who you would do, but yeah. But yeah, so 5th episode, that is what if Yondu delivered Star-Lord to Ego? I love that what if.
Of course you do.
Because it's a true what if. It's like it's not like a flashy like what if like this person and this person fought. It's like literally what if Yondu made a decision at this point in time that he didn't in the actual universe, and let's see what comes of it. I don't know. I think that's really exciting.
I think it's exciting, but what's the difference between this and then if Gamora kills Thanos?
I guess in my mind, like there's a clear point where like Yondu was supposed to deliver like Peter to Ego, and I guess I don't see a clear point where Gamora could have killed Thanos. But like if the story presents itself and it's like, a decision we saw like at some point in the movies where she could have killed him, I'd be down for it.
I feel like if I had to guess, it's when she's still living with him.
Right, like before she goes off to find the Infinity Stone in 2014. Yeah, I would agree. It's probably before the movies, which is probably fine. I'm sure the story, maybe not. I'm sure because they've really. I did not like how they treated the Guardians in that Black Panther episode last season.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I don't know why.
I think that episode is bad. We can get into it another time. But it is my least favorite of that season, and it's because I'll just say it's because they take a huge shit on Peter Quill, which is whatever. They can do whatever they want, but they make him seem like he's like the worst person to have been brought up into the galaxy, and now everything's fine because Black Panther's here. So and then they also just like butcher Thanos as a character,
right?
They butcher a couple other characters, so. It's a fun time for me in that episode. But yeah, so hopefully they treat Gamora a little better in this episode. It's not as ridiculous. And I think the concept for the Peter Quill being brought to Ego could be very cool. I think it's most likely going to see Ego succeed at his plan, and then we'll see like what comes of that probably.
His plan was to take over like most of the planets.
Yeah, he would like have himself on like, or I guess he would become every other planet or something.
Right.
So yeah, he just wanted to be in like all corners of the universe, I guess. Right. So I mean, pretty destructive plan. So and that would have been in the 80s. So who would have been around in the 80s? Hank Pym again? Yeah.
Hank Pym, Tony's dad.
Yeah, but he's not superhero.
Yeah. Oh,
Captain Marvel isn't even around.
No.
Yeah. Wow. They got nobody in the 80s.
But
Red Guardian.
but if he was delivered, then it still I think will be at the time jump. Like
I don't know. I think. I mean, if he got Peter, then he would have been like 10 or 9 or whatever.
Yeah, but I still think they're gonna have like get up to a point where Peter's like aged up.
Maybe. I wonder if Mantis would be like there as a kid. That'd be neat.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So next episode, that is, what if Happy Hogan saved Christmas?
What?
Yeah. So we're thinking that's going to release
special.
around Christmas time. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So apparently that's going to be set during
Hopefully it's fun.
Yeah, I hope so too. But it's going to be set during the Iron Man 3 era. So
okay, I kind of like that.
I don't know. I guess there was a Christmas time in that episode.
Yeah.
But
it was kind of a Christmas movie in a way.
But wasn't like the Christmas part of things like focused on Tony? So maybe Happy Hogan like goes out to find Tony in this. Like he's missing and he has to find him.
I almost want to bet that it's like Tony's gone and the Stark Christmas party's happening and I need like
I gotta take over everything.
I gotta take over. It's probably something like that. Yeah, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's sure it could be fun, but it's like kind of a waste of an episode if you ask me. Yeah. Because I don't know, it's not a crazy concept.
But if it's a fun story, I think we'll probably like it.
So next one I think is kind of in line with this one.
Oh no.
At least for me it is. It's what if Wanda had grown up watching musicals instead of sitcoms?
Okay. Is that gonna be like a tie-in to Agatha?
I would assume it's a Wanda. Like they would just go like
for sure, yeah,
to that time period.
But is it that they would go to the WandaVision and then everything would be a musical inside of that, or is it going to tie into since if Agatha is supposed to be a musical? That there's
maybe her and Agatha would have been like best buds at that point because they like musicals together. I don't know. I don't know what comes of this.
Would she just sing more?
Sing more?
Sing.
Oh, sing.
Like, because it seems like I'm assuming that they would do they would do a play on WandaVision where like every 2-3 minutes was is a new song.
I would assume that
genre song.
Throughout the eras they would just do like different musicals of that era, you know, and not instead of the sitcoms. So I don't know. It's like it's a whatever idea.
What if she grew up watching musicals instead of sitcoms?
Yeah,
it obviously is going to play into WandaVision, but
for sure.
But why?
Why? Why?
That's such on surface. I don't want to be super judgmental and harsh about something I haven't even seen yet.
Yeah,
but that seems like such a wasted. There's so many other ideas like that we've even brought up our own what ifs that I don't understand. Now, if it's a good story, but I feel I'll like it because it's a good story. But it just seems like such a ridiculous idea.
From what I can tell, or like what I can guess, is that they like after season 1, they were like they went to the writers and was like, "Hey, let's use our Phase 4 properties. Like, let's go back to this time period." Use the characters there. So I think like that episode ties into that. Maybe the others don't, but yeah, I think that one is definitely like a Phase 4 like hey, let's make a story here where I don't think there really is one, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
I've yet to get a Shang-Chi what if
next one.
Oh.
So,
okay.
What if
that was not planned? By the way, I don't know these.
It's what if Odin and Hela had faced Wenwu, which is the dad.
I know we're like, oh, we don't need to see a battle, but that sounds cool.
I mean, two worlds I never thought would have collided.
Exactly.
And Odin and Hela in their primes as conquerors.
Yeah.
Coming to battle like this 1,000-year-old man and the 10 rings, like that sounds kind of amazing.
And maybe I can get some lore of what's going on with like the interdimensional being that he was trying to open up.
Oh yeah, that would be great. I wonder but I feel like he was like researching that being like after the mother died, but I don't know. Maybe the mom's dead at this point.
But I think the rings are still very connected.
Sure, to that being. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think the story in general is just like really rich for that one because I think I mean I don't even know how they would come to face off, but like the potential for a good story to make them face off, I guess in my mind is amazing. So that might be my most or like a top 3 most excited one of this season. And then the last episode 9, is what if the Avengers had fought Surtur or Surtur. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is the being at the end of Ragnarok that destroys
and the beginning.
You're right. But yeah, he does eventually destroy Asgard. Thank you. I was like, it's not Helheim. What the hell is this? But yeah, so I think that's exciting. I'm not sure. Like, I would prefer it to be like, like what if the Avengers were still like, what if the Avengers had never split up? Because then I think like they would have all gone.
Yeah, you really want that one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just think it's a better like flow into this because I think they all would have been together to maybe fight Surtur.
Maybe that's the story.
Maybe it is. And they just didn't phrase it like I want. But
well, what if the Avengers never broke up in Age of Ultron and fought Surtur is a bit of a long title. So maybe
sure. But I feel like just that alone, I feel like that is an exciting like concept. Right. Like, what if the Avengers never split? I don't know. Like, what would have happened?
Yeah. Give me that over the musical.
yeah.
Or the Christmas. Episode.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah. So,
do you think like last one where they had like Ultron and the Infinity Stones?
Oh, we just heard a car alarm.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Do you think that they had the tie-in of like the second to last episode being Ultron getting all the Infinity Stones, and then this like multiversal Avengers group going and fighting him at the end? Do you think that there will be some sort of tie-in, considering that you'll have Hela and Odin face off against Wenwu, and then we have this like Surtur conflict come up? And are these Avengers like Avengers from the MCU? Or are they
like the Avengers of the show?
Because I'm also curious as to why we're getting Gamora killing Thanos episode. If that's the Gamora from
the first season.
The
plan was to always just bring it in over into this season because they couldn't finish it in time.
Right. But then you have Captain Carter continuing too.
Yeah, you're right. So you would have that Gamora, Captain Carter, you would have Kaori. You would probably have this version of Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne from the Red Guardian fight.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't think anything good comes out of that Yondu Star-Lord. Like, I don't think anyone good comes out of that to help the Avengers, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
Happy Hogan Saving Christmas.
I mean, we you could say that about the Black Panther episode in the first season, but they do bring Killmonger in.
Yeah, I guess I don't see like that's the only one like that last episode that could be like broad enough to be like a team up for the other episodes. But maybe they just learned their lesson on that like last season, because like I honestly would have just preferred like good stories individually and not have a big tie-in at the end of the season. So
right,
maybe they just do individual stories this time.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Even though I did like those 2 episodes.
Yeah,
it was fun.
They weren't badly done. They weren't. I wouldn't say they were good for me either. But yeah, I don't know. It's just me.
I just feel like with the Captain Carter one, it's a bit like, and what if evil Doctor Strange got out of that prison?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, sure, but that's not like, that's just a what if to your story you already made. So it's just kind of like, all right.
Yeah. I think it would have been nice to have more episodes in this season. Maybe take their time with it. But it's neat that we're probably getting it around Christmas. I didn't think we were going to get it until like late next year, probably. So, yeah. And I know like kind of related to this, like it's a rumor that this like animation style or like art style they do is going to be carried over to the X-Men 97 show, which I don't.
I know that they made a whole Marvel animation
studio just for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's probably not true, and that's good that it's not gonna, because I think this really only works for What If. I'm not sure I want to keep seeing this style anywhere else.
Well, it could. I'm just saying that Marvel specifically made an animation studio to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming X-Men.
Hopefully a different style is all I'm saying.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You would think that they would have different art styles for different projects.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to not have everything look the same.
Agreed.
But
have some vision from a different director, a different visionary.
Which it would also just be weird. If you're gonna do X-Men 97, why? Like you can update the.
Like you have fans of a past show who want something like specific. Just give it to them, you know.
And you can have it updated 4K lines and all of that, but it doesn't need to be a completely new art style.
No, agreed. But yeah, I think that's our thoughts on the What If season 2 episodes. I think I'm looking forward to a few of them.
Looking forward to the Wenwu.
Yeah.
One. I'm looking forward to the Kahori one. That one sounds interesting. I like the Ego and Peter Quill one. And the Surtur one sounds interesting.
Surtur one could be interesting. Yep. And
some of the rest,
maybe the Hank Pym and Van Dyne versus Red Guardian could be good. Maybe.
But the rest of them are
a little weak.
Yeah.
A little weak. Yeah. So we might be reviewing those when they come out. I'm not sure. But
depends how slow the week is, I guess.
Yeah, because I guess What If was it coming out when we were doing the podcast last year?
If it was towards the very end.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I think now we want to talk about a bunch of trailers. We don't need to take a break or anything, right?
We got like 6 minutes.
So let's just take a break here.
Okay.
And then, we will be back in a short while. Okay, we are back. And so I think the first trailer we want to talk about is Monarch. We were really excited last week about the concept.
Right.
And, they didn't show a lot in this trailer.
They did, but they didn't.
They were very vague with like what the story was kind of going with.
Sure.
I still don't really know how like Kurt and Wyatt Russell's character Lee is like involved in the story. But I think it's cool to see like Kurt Russell with that like that weathered blonde hair, like he doesn't usually have that kind of like color, but they're really trying to match like Wyatt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it works. And I think like seeing them like cut back to back between them, like, yeah, they're father and son. So like they worked as the same person. But yeah, I mean, what else? I'm starting to remember the rest of the trailer.
I mean, he was saying like, Kurt Russell's character was saying a bunch of, I can tell you what we did. I can tell you like how this all came to be. Right. Originally it was to help both our worlds. Not to go monster hunting.
Okay.
So there is a bit of understanding, a bit of where the story will go with that.
I mean, it sounds like we're going to be delving deeper into Monarch, which is what I've been wanting.
Yeah.
I think that's their biggest underutilized spot of their universe. And I mean, that literally like helps tie in all of their movies. So, it just makes sense.
Yeah. It just looks
quality.
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised that it's a show.
It's a show. It's on Apple TV Plus. Like that's surprising in itself because it's a Warner Brothers property.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm excited it's getting the budget and resources of an Apple TV Plus show. Even though I think an HBO
or just
show
even
would look
a movie.
Good. Yeah, a movie would have been cool, wouldn't have? I almost would have preferred a movie.
But it looks like a movie.
It does look like a movie. Yeah, you're right. So maybe this is better because it's probably going to be longer than a movie.
Yeah, it'll definitely be longer than a movie.
Do we know how many episodes? It's probably 6 again, right? I don't know. We were just talking earlier about how like every episode or every show now is 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a rough future for shows.
If it is 6 episodes,
at least they're going to be a quality 6,
right?
Yeah.
And I am a fan of limited season shows, like limited series.
If it's just one season, then that's fine, right?
You know, like
yeah,
which we don't have to get into. Never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it looks cool.
Uh-huh.
I think it looks great. Actually, I'm really excited about it.
Nice.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot to show.
Yeah, I mean, Godzilla screamed at the end.
You get Godzilla. Yeah. I think you get some Rodan. I'm sure as hell we're gonna get Mothra. I
don't think we saw any other monsters.
Actually, what was cool about it was, oh man, who plays Donnie? God damn it, Donnie.
Donnie.
John Goodman.
Oh. John Goodman surprised me. I did not know he was in this.
He's from Skull Island.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah.
He was in like
he was on the island.
Like, and that was set in like the 70s or 80s, right? So wow. So does he like look like he's aged?
I think those are all videos from him.
Or maybe it's back. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So it is tying.
So they're really tying
the movies, yes.
That's exciting. You know, I still haven't seen that movie, Skull Island.
You should.
Yeah.
It is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some good things. I've heard some bad things, but
I think overall it's pretty fun.
Right, like I've heard it's a fun movie, but I've heard in general like there's not a lot of plot there. There's not a lot of like reason for the plot, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But you know, if it's a fun action movie, like we enjoy that, so.
There's a lot of memeable parts.
I've seen the big guy getting swung, and then exploding on the cliff. That was insane to put in a movie.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it for that trailer, right?
Just kneels. Yeah,
I'll save you guys. Nope. But yeah, so I guess next we also have a cool little movie I hadn't heard about until like a week or two ago. It's called The Bikeriders. That you've seen the trailer more recently than I have.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, but it'll be releasing in theaters for a select amount of time.
Like December 1st, I think it said, right? Is when it's releasing.
Yeah, or actually that one, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe that one is theaters only.
Yeah, it says in theaters December 1st.
Okay.
But yeah, it's starring Mike Faist, Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, Boyd Holbrook, Norman Reedus, and Michael Shannon. So that's a hell of a cast.
It is.
I think it's cool. Like I don't know. From what I remember of the trailer, it was like a 50s era kind of like bikers gang.
Yeah, 50s or 60s bikers gang.
Yeah, and
Chicago.
Like Tom Hardy is like Austin Butler's kind of like mentor, and I don't know. Everyone looks tough in this trailer. Like I love seeing Austin Butler in this kind of role. I think he's made for stuff like this. You know, like I don't know. Like to me, this falls in line with like his character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And like Elvis, where he's just kind of like this cool guy, and yeah, I don't know. He looks good in the trailer. Tom Hardy looks good. We didn't see. I don't think we saw Norman Reedus or Michael Shannon, right, in the trailer.
Maybe if we did, it was very briefly.
But yeah, I think both of them like fit the aesthetic of this movie. Like Norman Reedus is like a real life biker,
right.
And he like only rode bikes on The Walking Dead, so like that's gonna be great to see. Yeah, so I don't know. Just the concept alone of a biker gang in the 50s, 60s with Tom Hardy and all this cast is great.
Have you seen Sons of Anarchy?
I haven't. You know, I was just talking to somebody about it, and I was like, I kind of want a biker show to watch that's like a organized crime.
It's so good.
Yeah. But I was hearing like Sons of Anarchy is like it follows a guy who's like infiltrating the group. It's not a
No.
Huh?
Mm-mm.
What? It isn't?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I heard wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did.
I thought it was like a Fast and Furious situation, you know, like where it's Paul Walker like as an undercover cop.
Not
so I'm kind of right.
Well, that is more things that happens.
It happens in the show. Okay,
it's a long show.
Okay,
it's not. It is,
but that's not the main character of the show.
Jax is very much,
and he's like the leader.
No.
Okay,
he's the stepson of the leader.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure they don't have a great relationship.
No, yeah, great relationship.
Okay. I just and sometimes I could see a
stepdad, stepson.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, I might have to give this a show.
No, you have
watch.
to. It's really good.
Nice.
I like the idea of it. I like Tom Hardy in the role.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll like Austin Butler.
Although I would have liked a little more like age separation between the two of them. Like,
I think Tom Hardy's old enough to do.
He is, but they're only like 15 years older, which is not. It's not a huge like. I don't know. Yeah, because Austin Butler's like 32 already. Yeah.
Jodie Comer was interesting. I don't know.
How
I felt about her.
Was she
role.
In the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was like, and I married him 5 days later.
Oh, right. Yeah, they almost made it seem like a Sopranos, not Sopranos, Goodfellas vibe.
Yeah. I just thought I could change him.
That feels straight out of Goodfellas to me. Yeah. So I mean, that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. I don't mean like I'm interested. I'm just there's just parts of it that the way that maybe the trailers cut together that it just feels a bit like. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems like, okay.
Seems like a movie. Yeah.
It seems like a movie.
Okay. Yeah,
but I like the actors and I like the idea. I didn't watch it and I was and was as like grabbed by it.
Right.
But I think it's interesting and I like the idea. I just it looks okay.
Yeah,
to me.
Sure. I guess we'll see in a few months if it's good or not. Yeah. I feel like we got a lot of movies in December coming up, but yeah. So next trailer, I guess we can talk about the Boy and the Heron trailer. That's a wild
Studio
one.
Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli. Yeah. Miyazaki's supposed to be his final film, but now that he has had finished this movie for a while, he's like, I'm gonna make another movie. I'm not gonna retire because I can't retire. And this
I can't retire because why?
Because
I have all this student debt to still pay.
No, I just think like some actors and directors just don't ever want to retire. Like they want to work until they die because that's what they love.
Yeah, which is why I don't think Quentin Tarantino is actually ever gonna stop.
Yeah, you don't think so?
No,
because I don't think he's ever gonna stop working, but I think he will stop directing. Like he said like he's gonna move into like writing books and shows and like going to every other avenue except movies.
Maybe it's just I find it difficult to comprehend. Maybe it's possible. Like Jim Carrey, but also like Jim Carrey said he's gonna stop acting. Has he?
I don't know. I know the last movie he did was Sonic 2, right?
It was that or something else. He said he would come back for one other thing. I forget.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sonic 3 is what it is.
Well, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of crazy visuals in this trailer, kind of just all strung together.
Yeah, it reminded me of Men, the Men trailer.
I don't remember that.
It was an A24 movie that.
Yeah. I do remember this. Okay.
And I'm like, and just keep going over and over, and it was very creepy.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of a lot of A24 style, like horror elements to it. Getting like, join us, and it was like all these frogs like getting up into like covering him up, and all these old women in this hallway doing something and then scurrying off, and the touching this girl, and she turns into
she's
water.
Melting, and I was just like, this is crazy.
And then it's like where life meets death, or where life ends, death something. So it's very much something going on about life and death, and you have the synopsis that you read.
I mean, basically it follows a boy who finds an abandoned tower in his town, and he like through it enters a fantastical world where he like meets and talks to a talking gray heron, and that's all we know really.
It also seems a bit like Coraline-esque, not like a nightmare version of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I almost feel like it's not as dark as Coraline though. Like it doesn't feel that dark to me.
It doesn't feel as dark as Coraline?
Not at all.
It seems like it's going in a kind of creepy, like surrealist, dark way.
Interesting. Because I would say, sure, he might experience, like this character might experience things along the way that's like unpleasant, but I think it will be an uplifting story. And like I think it will like have a lighter tone at some point. You know, maybe it,
I don't know, because Coraline still ends on an uplifting note.
Sure, I just feel like so much of that movie is dark. You know, it's like, and it's creepy. Like a lot of that movie is creepy.
I felt like with the music behind this and the visuals and the fact that they're talking about death.
Yeah, no, I mean,
like, because I still feel like one of the most disturbing things I'd seen was when, in Spirited Away, when her parents turned into the pigs. Oh, that movie was very dark.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel like
a lot of Studio Ghibli movies, can get that sense of darkness there. So yeah, sure. I get it. Yeah, I'll have to look at that trailer in a different way now. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, because like I don't know.
How did you see it?
I just saw it as like some yeah, I mean, like, you know, kind of how the synopsis was, that he's just in this fantastical world and there's these fantastical things happening that like I don't know, the person like forming into water, like that's just kind of crazy. I don't think it's like creepy to me.
But it's the other stuff that's like it was this,
but the old ladies in the hallway didn't seem creepy to me either.
That didn't seem creepy. I seemed very eerie.
Did it?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's neat that we have such a different interpretation of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that also releases in December, I think. So yeah, that's and it's already released in Japan, and it's
nice. Oh, really?
Yeah. That released in Japan without any trailers.
Right, which is what
it was like one of their biggest openings, like for Studio Ghibli movie ever.
Yeah, apparently somebody was telling me that it was Miyazaki's vision for not anybody to see trailers before.
Well, actually,
is that not true?
It's not true. I had read that, you know, he was like interviewed about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm a bit nervous. They decided to do this, and you know, I trust them, but you know, we've never done this before. And
God, I hate how like people's information gets mixed up like that. That's why I say somebody told me, and that doesn't mean that I believe it.
Sure.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I heard this.
I heard it from somebody.
Could be true. Right.
Nobody's like backed it up. Even the person was like, well, I heard. And I'm like, okay. Well.
Yeah. No, I think it would have been, if it had failed and it wasn't his decision, that would have been bad. Like that, I don't know if he could have like come back to Studio Ghibli after that. Like, I don't know if he would have wanted to, you know, if they kind of broke his trust like that.
Right.
But I'm glad it went well in Japan and was a success. And
yeah, it's awesome.
Probably going to be a success over here. And yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, next trailer, if we want to get to it, is I guess let's talk about The Killer. That's David Fincher. Yep. With Michael Fassbender as the starring role. A lot of this movie is a lot of the trailer is very silent, isn't it? It's
silent, but he's like saying he keeps repeating the same thing. It's like, trust no one, follow the rules. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and it sounds, I guess from what I remember, it almost felt like the repeated act of this, like, and it's probably just a theory, but like that it could drive this character to like an insane breaking point.
Yes.
I think, okay, so you get that kind of vibe too.
Because he starts to say it in different ways where he starts to feel panicked and starts to feel upset and unsure.
Right.
Well, like he starts saying it in different ways.
Neat. Yeah.
So yeah.
So I don't know. I think what other movies has Fincher done? Do you know?
He's done 7, which is one of my favorites.
I'd have to watch it.
Done. I think he did the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Also wanted to
the American version.
Yeah. I heard that was good.
He's great.
Okay.
I'll look up the list. I admittedly I haven't seen a ton, but I know.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, at least from the trailer, it felt like, you know, this is a director who has like a unique vision, and and it's surprising that it's a Netflix movie, isn't it?
It will be released. That's the one that I was saying. It'll be released in theaters.
But like, I don't know. It's a bold, dark concept for Netflix, and I mean, but yeah, I guess they've done some dark things on Netflix, but I think it's a cool concept, and I always love stories about somebody who's not a good person and who's in this side of crime, and yeah, I don't know. Its filming style looks good. Trailer looks good. Michael Fassbender looks good.
He's done Gone Girl, Social Network, which is one of my favorite movies.
I've seen that. Yep.
Seven, which is incredible. Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
I haven't seen it.
He did Mank, which I know not a whole lot of people were crazy about.
I probably have only seen The Social Network that he's done. That's crazy.
But yeah. I really like David Fincher movies. And,
nice.
And I'm excited. I'm very excited. I think that's out of all the trailers that I watched, besides maybe the Studio Ghibli and the Monarch one, this one I'm really interested about. And I think it's, at first I was kind of iffy, but the more paranoid and dark it started to feel, the more I was into it.
Yeah,
I'm very interested.
I guess this might be. I mean, this probably has. There's a bigger possibility, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, that this is better than like the Bikeriders.
It's more interesting to me than the Bikeriders.
Sure, like there's more
also
of a
there's that line
here.
from that Tom Hardy gives about the Bikeriders,
which is
if he wants to ride a bike, then he's gonna ride a bike.
Yeah. That's a little cheese. Yeah, I get that.
I was like, okay.
I mean, it's not that serious, but okay. Yeah. No, yeah. I think yeah, this could look the best out of all the trailers we've talked about today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know we have one more trailer we want to talk about, and I'm not sure I have a ton to say on this one, but it's the Ferrari.
Yeah. Looks okay.
This one was a mostly silent trailer. I think this is the one I was thinking of, and then. Well, I mean, and all the visuals look great. I mean, it's like old time Ferrari, you know, driving and I don't know. I mean, what more can you say about that? It looks good.
Yeah. And he's like, if you want to drive my car, you win.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think this could go in the route of like that like House of Gucci movie last year.
Because they're Italian.
No, I'm just.
I know it gives me a similar vibe. It doesn't feel like
super authentic.
It doesn't feel like, super authentic
or genuine.
It feels like some of the shots feel very streamer movie.
Sure, I could see that. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess like the thing I'm most excited for with this movie is Adam Driver. I think he's a really good actor.
Sure.
I think he looks good as Ferrari. So I don't know. I'd be willing to see it. It's not like
I'll see it
at the top of my priority.
No.
But like if something else comes out that week,
I just don't understand.
Maybe I'll miss it.
I feel like I understand the kind of trailer that they wanted to do, but the shots and the editing were not there for it.
I feel it. Yeah.
So I kind of wish they would have presented it in a different way, because it feels like they're trying to make it this Oppenheimer kind of
where they have like a really dramatic
minimal language and just visuals, but the visuals aren't there.
They're almost there. Some of them are. Yeah. I don't know. There was a couple driving shots I really liked, but yeah, that's probably what they focus on most for this movie, is getting the cars to look great.
Maybe. Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the trailers we had to talk about today. And that's all the topics at this point.
Yeah.
Is there anything you watched in this past week?
I just finished all of my adventures with Superman.
Oh, very nice. I'll have to catch up. But give me your non-spoiler review of season 1.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Villains
very
get
highly
better?
rewatchable, huh?
Do the villains get better?
The villains are great.
Okay. Great.
And there's the last episode is something happens.
Nice.
At Thanksgiving.
Okay. I've heard season 2 is like already in the works or is already written or something.
Yeah, I think there's an announcement video. Yeah.
That's exciting. That's great.
You should watch them all so we can review it next week.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make sure to do that. They're short episodes.
Yeah.
Because I stopped at like episode 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally done to do that. I can't believe that was already 10 episodes. That feels fast, right? But yeah, anything else you watched?
No. Nope. That was it.
Yeah, I
listened to the Travis Scott album finally.
Did you? Yeah. How was that?
So mid.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 2 songs worth, but I don't. Yeah, it was. I used to be a really big fan, and I was like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Very big, but yeah, it was mid. That's what I was talking to Manny about last night.
That's right. Yeah.
And he just went.
It's not.
He just shook his head.
It's not good. Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably be coming back with a series finale update next week, but I am 2 episodes away from finishing The Walking Dead. So
right.
It's I will say they have finally, like, the last part of this like season 11 has finally like found its grounding and like footing, and like we are in a very intense part of the show, and like it's all working for me finally. Like a lot of this season was like weak writing and weak plots and just kind of getting characters from one spot to the other. But I'm hoping for like a big character death, because that's something like that used to be a staple of the show. You would never know when a character would die, but now, like in these last 2 seasons, we've had like 1 or 2 characters like die from the group, and they're not even like that big of characters, right? So like I'm wanting some big impacts. And I think like the way the show has gone with like this last community they've joined and found, I think like all the drama in the city and like that they're in works, and like all the political stuff works. I think the governor of that town is like a good villain.
Another town and another governor.
Yeah.
What?
It's called the Commonwealth this time. And
where is it at?
It's in West Virginia. But right. it's got 50,000 people.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's like literally the biggest community that's ever been shown on the show. And like they got cars, they got all their military has like these protective like outfits with helmets,
and they're white.
They're white.
Yeah.
They have a working train. It's like they got everything you could want, like hospitals, and yeah. So it's a pretty crazy concept they added to the last season, but I think it works for the most part. And yeah, I'm weirdly excited for the last 2 episodes.
Now, when you finish this series, are you going to watch the Daryl and the...
First, I'm going to watch the Maggie Negan show. And then...
what's that one called?
It's called Walking Dead Dead City.
Okay.
And so that's set 5 years after 5 years after the finale. And it follows them in New York. So yeah, that's exciting. And then Daryl follows
France.
Daryl in France. So right. Yeah. So we'll see how those go. I'm excited for them. But yeah, that's all about I watched this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So appreciate you all watching and getting to the end of this episode. If you want to watch us in the future, our release days have been kind of fuzzy, but I think we're probably going to release this one on Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
And in the future, they will be released on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
If you want to watch us, though, we are releasing on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Spotify. And the video versions are on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you.
And we record at Joe's Modern Studios. If you can see the space on YouTube, and you can record here. It doesn't have to just be for the video. You can just record a podcast if you want, or do a photo shoot. So
Yeah.
Links in the description.
It is. And thank you to Joe again for letting us record here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if you want to support us in the future, one more time, we would always appreciate a like, a comment, a subscribe, a rating, or a review. And thank you again.
Until next time.